Tonight, you'll open your fridge without thinking. Cold drinks, something wrapped in plastic, maybe fruit that was grown on the other side of the planet and flown to you while it was still ripe. You'll pick whatever you feel like. But to almost every human who ever lived, this wouldn't look like a kitchen. It would look like a miracle. Because for over 2 million years, your ancestors woke up every single day not knowing if they would eat at all. So what did they actually put in their mouths to survive? The honest answer isn't the clean story you've been told. It's stranger, fattier, and in places far more disturbing than you'd expect. Let's kill the myth first. When you picture a caveman's meal, you probably imagine a big slab of lean red meat, maybe some berries on the side. The Paleo plate. Clean, simple, strong. But that picture is almost backwards. For most ancient humans, in most places, meat was not the daily meal. It was the jackpot. Hunting a large animal is dangerous, exhausting, and usually fails. What actually filled the stomach day after day was whatever could be gathered without dying for it. Roots dug out of hard ground, tough leaves, seeds, nuts, tubers that had to be pounded and cooked just to be edible. The reality of the ancestral diet wasn't a steakhouse. It was a salad you'd hate, mixed with things you couldn't identify. And we don't have to guess about this because ancient humans left us a record in the one place you'd never think to look, and it's already stranger than you'd expect. Their teeth. When you don't brush, plaque hardens into dental calculus, and it traps microscopic bits of everything you eat. In 2011, anthropologist Amanda Henry and her team scraped the fossilized plaque off Neanderthal teeth, our close cousins, often imagined as pure meat-eating brutes. Locked inside, starch grains from plants, some showing the telltale damage of having been cooked. The brutish carnivores were eating cooked vegetables tens of thousands of years ago. Plants were not a side dish, they were survival. But here's where it gets darker. Because if plants kept them alive, there was one thing ancient humans craved above almost everything else, and it wasn't muscle meat at all. It was fat. To us, fat is the thing on the label we're told to avoid. To them, it was the difference between life and death. If you eat only lean meat with no fat and no carbohydrates, your body can't keep up with processing the protein. You can literally starve while your stomach is full. Early explorers who tried to live on lean rabbit alone documented exactly that. Weakness, sickness, sometimes death. Anthropologists call it rabbit starvation. So ancient humans didn't want the lean cuts you'd pick at the store. They wanted the greasy, calorie-dense parts, the organs, the brain. And most of all, what was hidden inside the bones. When a lion or a hyena finishes a kill, there's almost nothing left. But there's one prize even the predators can't reach. The marrow, sealed inside thick bone. Our ancestors figured out how to get it. They took a rock and they cracked the bones open. Archaeologists find these bones everywhere, smashed the exact same way, sometimes with cut marks layered over the tooth marks of the predators that ate first. Early humans waiting their turn after the lions, then moving in to crack the leftovers for fat nobody else could reach. That grease sealed in bone may have been one of the most important foods on Earth. It helped feed the most expensive organ you own, your brain. But the marrow isn't the part that would horrify you. This is. For most of human history, your ancestors ate things that would make you gag. Insects weren't a last resort. They were a reliable, protein-rich staple, gathered by the handful. Grubs, termites, larvae. When you're starving, you don't get to be picky about freshness either. Meat that was rotting, crawling, days old was still calories, and calories meant another sunrise. The squeamishness you feel right now is a luxury. It only exists because you have never been truly, desperately hungry. Your ancestors didn't have that flinch. They couldn't afford it. So how did any of this become survivable? And somehow, even stranger. The single most important thing humans ever did to food, you do every day without thinking. You cook it. The biologist Richard Wrangham argues that cooking changed our species at the deepest level. Fire breaks down food before it ever reaches your stomach, unlocking calories that raw food simply hides from you. Once our ancestors started cooking, our guts got smaller because they no longer had to fight so hard to digest, and the energy that was saved went somewhere far more interesting. It helped grow the enormous, hungry brain you're using to understand this sentence right now. You don't just cook because food tastes better. You may exist as you are because they did. And here's the last piece, the one that's still alive inside you, and it's the strangest of all. Of everything ancient humans could find, almost nothing was more valuable than one substance: honey. Among modern hunter-gatherers like the Hadza, honey is consistently ranked the single most prized food there is. People climb dangerous heights and brave swarms of stinging bees for it. Because for almost all of human history, concentrated sugar was incredibly rare and incredibly valuable. A burst of pure, fast energy in a world where energy was never guaranteed. So your brain evolved a simple rule. When you find sugar, eat as much as you possibly can, because you may never find it again. That rule worked perfectly for 2 million years. And then it didn't. Because that exact craving, built for a world of scarcity, is still running inside you. Except now, it's standing in front of a fridge that never empties and a store that never closes. So tonight, when you open that fridge without a second thought, remember what you're really looking at. Not dinner. The end of a 2 million year story written in cracked bones, stolen honeycombs, and the bodies of people who ate whatever they had to just to see another morning. They spent 2 million years terrified of running out of food, and they passed that fear down to you, baked into every craving you still can't explain. The hunger is still there. It's just that for the first time in the story of our species, the food finally won. And your body still hasn't figured out that the danger is gone.